I almost shut down my permanent makeup studio last year or the year before. Not because my work was bad or because my business failed, but because I burned out trying to do everything all at once. And I thought that running the business while working on my online course was going to be easy since I've become full-time worker while I was working on apprenticeship before. So I was thinking like anything is better than being a full-time student if you've been to college. So I was thinking, oh, I got this. But what I found out was it was actually way more complicated. And the weird part is this happened after I built what most people would consider success already. I had a studio, clientele, students, apprentices, people I was working with. But somehow behind the scenes, everything felt like it was falling apart. So I wanted to start documenting everything to share with whoever may be struggling in the permanent makeup industry. You can do it because I'm just a regular girl, and almost 10 years I was serving until I found this. I had no talent, I had no eye for beauty other than doing my own makeup. But I didn't want to just talk about perfect brows and perfect setup and all these success stories that people were expecting out of me. Yes, what they see is success, but what I experienced running this business felt far from success. I just want to share the real process of building something meaningful in this industry, and of course my trials and tribulations, rather than just all the edited glitz and glam that people expect. So this video is about real ass parts about owning your own beauty business and how trying to pivot my permanent makeup business into a full-time online training course as my main income source is going. So right now I'm in the middle of building this permanent makeup program, this online program that I've been working on for way longer than I expected. And honestly, it's a lot more effort. I just thought that I have my iPhone with a great quality. I can just whip something up. So I'm thinking like, oh, you just type in a couple things that I already say to my students. And it's been more than 4 years since I started doing this, recording videos, contents for the specific online course that I've been working on. I started with my in-person course. I got lucky. Somebody was waiting for me since during my apprenticeship to graduate so that I can teach them. Is a very much a blessing. I'm very thankful for my first students for trusting me. She's still doing great. So with my in-person course, I already had an existing curriculum based on everything that I've learned and in the order that I wanted it to be, that makes sense in my head and what I thought would be the easiest for my students. So it took me a couple years to strengthen that curriculum and feel confident in what I'm teaching and in what order. I've worked on a lot of students and even more clients during my time as an artist and in-person trainer. So I figured, why not document the entire journey while it's still happening instead of going through all this shit in the dark alone, which is what I've been doing. So I really want y'all to see my struggles and understand that I'm just like you. I started from literally no experience and know nothing, and now I'm transitioning into, again, not knowing shit about something else now. But I want y'all to see the struggles, but also to see me come out on the other end of the tunnel successful. I really do believe that if you keep going, even after you fail over and over, there's going to be some type of results. And I'm sticking around to find out unless I'm dead. So running a beauty business, it looks very glamorous on the outside. So my friends and family are seeing the studio, the growth in my business, the before and after photos, the students graduating, getting licensed, certified, whatever. But behind the scenes, there was a lot of things that I did not fully understand when I first started. The business, building something bigger than the business that I've been running, are two completely different things. Oh, it's getting hot. And we're running out of sun because it's almost 8 p.m. after my prenatal yoga. Just decided to film this video. Anyway, so things started getting really overwhelming for me around the time when I wanted to start focusing on the online training. Probably because it's not a good idea to have your hands on multiple things. Instead, I should have focused on my one thing that's bringing me the most income and where I was impacting the most lives. Not saying, because training impacted my life in a really big way, which is why I wanted to start doing it in a bigger scale where I can help more people. And then obviously the money. But I started noticing once I started training, something like a trainer paradox, where you spend years learning the craft, but when you start teaching it, you realize that how much responsibility that it actually carries. So you're not just doing the work anymore. You're explaining it, you're breaking it down, you're designing the curriculum, and trying to help other artists avoid the same mistakes that you did, all while you're running the same business that you're trying to help other people build. So out of nowhere, the job becomes way bigger than just tattooing brows. So what surprised me the most was how much value I knew I had to offer, yet I was fumbling to find the words and having trouble editing videos to showcase that I have this value to give and for me to teach people. And the in-person course made me think I can build something big and super helpful online too, since I figured I'm doing this consistently with other students. But at the same time, there's other pressures in our industry, like social media. Now it's really big, right? Because everyone's so good at editing and they're pros and you see all these perfect things. It's intimidating. So you already know what I'm talking about if you're a beauty professional. You're expected to constantly post on top of running your business. There's reels, there's photos, there's carousels. Now there's shorts and TikToks. Oh my God. There's too many things that we're supposed to be doing, marketing content. And while you're doing all of that, you're also supposed to be running your own business. How is a bitch supposed to breathe? For real. But so for me, the hardest part was just being burnt out from everything, especially social media. I was addicted as fuck to social media personally. And so having to do that for business, it just felt like too much consuming. So my own mindset and my own burnout really trapped me. And then on top of that, there's this Instagram brow trap where everyone's posting brow thirst traps. Everything is looking so perfect all the time. Meanwhile, I'm trying to get the perfect lighting and photos and quality, and I'm still on iPhone 12 and everyone's on 17 or 18. So it's hard because when you first start, you can't just get perfect photos. Real clients move, real clients have different skin, healing takes time, and you start questioning yourself. And looking back, I realized I got in my head and I couldn't escape. And I felt like a fraud, that everything had to be perfect and everyone thought everything was perfect in my business somehow. So you might be wondering, wait, how can someone who's already successful still feel imposter syndrome? But the truth is, success doesn't just automatically remove self-doubt. And just because everyone sees me in that light doesn't mean I don't feel insecure sometimes. So if I'm feeling this way 7 years in, 6.5 years in the permanent makeup industry, then you can keep going. We get back up. It's a part of life, right? And we gotta build that thick skin, even though I don't want to. Especially when you start teaching other people, I feel like it amplifies the self-doubt. But enough of my pity party. I want to talk about what nobody really talks about, which is the mindset and how to avoid burnout so deep that you can continue doing this long term. So at the same time, you're going to have the financial pressure of running the business. You have rent, you have supplies, equipment, and maybe people you're working with or employees if you ended up hiring. And when you're trying to grow something bigger than yourself, you start investing into more systems, people, subscriptions for your business. And sometimes that money goes backwards before it starts moving you forward, unfortunately. And many times over, that's happened. So it got really dark real quick, so I had to turn the light on. But anyway, so I didn't expect to get so tired of this business that I loved so much and built from scratch. I was so proud of it that I started to neglect almost every aspect and just started moving in autopilot and doing what I needed to do in order to get by, which was continue training people, which I was still teaching great. It just that my students could feel my burnout. And I remember specifically one of my students felt like I was just tired of them, and that really wasn't the case. But I think just me talking shit and being vulnerable to my friends or my clients in front of them, it sounded probably like I'm fucking sick and tired of my students. But it was really, I was sick and tired of doing so many things, couldn't hone in on the focus. Instead of just consistently going little by little, I overwhelmed myself with all the responsibilities. So there were moments where I thought, can I even keep going? Can I even keep everything running? Am I making the right decisions? Because the reason why I started taking apprentices and started taking commission artists, I knew that I would learn quick, and I thought I was ready. So I was like, let the lessons come in, I can learn, I can fail, and I can get back up. But it took me a very long time to get back up, almost 2-3 years. And then of course there's the life stuff. I was in a relationship where we were both unhappy. All that stuff plays into the burnout, right? So on top of that, life happens. Burnout happens, depression happens, and sometimes you just hit a point where it just feels so much heavier than it should, and you feel like you can't keep going anymore. And honestly, it was crazy because everyone around me constantly told me how successful I was and how amazing I'm doing. And I felt more like a failure, which led me to getting a couple jobs in between and also completely going broke because I wasn't doing shit, marketing, advertising, and then became 200 pounds because I was so depressed. But recently, I've been finally picking up where I left off, especially with the online course. And eventually I just have to step back and ask myself, what am I actually trying to build here? So what are you trying to build? Obviously we all want money, but it's gotta be deeper than that, right? And the moment things changed was when I realized that passions that turn into jobs, if you profit off them, the pain is going to be a part of it. Anything that is worth it is hard. So I have to just raise my frustration point, or raise the bar for how much frustration I can go through and stick through something. So if I gave up every single time I felt tired and I felt inadequate or not good enough, then I would currently have a different job right now, maybe going back to serving, because I have no other skills, right? Because if the goal is just to survive day to day and pay rent and just be in the studio, then that's not the life you want long term. Well, I don't know about you, but I don't want that. So what I actually want to build is something meaningful, something that is actually cares about the students and the value I'm putting into these students. And I guess obviously multiple streams of income from monetizing online. But you got to think about it this way. If I'm able to put in a platform everything that I teach to my students on the daily basis, I'm already repeating the same training. Well, of course, different people have different confusion or whatever, but I'm saying the same things to different people. I could make these videos help way more people, and also I could save my voice and save some words that I have to say, because in the beginning it's just fundamentals and I have to repeat the same thing over and over, right? So I think I'm like, I should get paid for that. I have so much value, and if artists can learn from somebody that actually gives a fuck, why shouldn't I profit off that? So right now, as I said, I'm working on the online brow training course, and I'm finally close to seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Mind you, I've been editing videos for years, which I'm tired, but we'll keep going because it's going to be so worth it. I know it. And I'm currently struggling with all of the content that has stacked up over the years. I'm not a video editor. I'm barely a content creator, right? So I'm currently working on getting better at that every single day, doing something, then not making myself feel so bad and so worthless when I don't do the shit that I'm supposed to. Yes, I get inconsistent sometimes. I can't. We're all humans. So don't be so mean to yourself if you go outside of your goals from time to time. Sometimes we're fucking tired. I don't know. So sorting all the shit, editing all the shit, it's just been so messy. I have hundreds. Actually, I have thousands. Currently, my entire album is at 60,000 and I am paying monthly. You, Apple. Let me not say that. But I'm paying monthly subscriptions to keep all my photos and videos. That's just all faces and brows and anyway. So student footage, technique demonstrations. So some days I'm filming right now, some days I'm editing, and some days I'm just staring at the computer. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Where do I even start? But building something meaningful is never a straight path. I gotta remind myself and remind you. And I always tell my apprentices to expect to suck dick for a long time before you feel good enough, and even then sometimes you're gonna feel like shit and you're doing everything wrong. It's just the way it goes, unless you're like the most confident person in the world, which kudos to you. Share some tips. Anyway, so I guess my point is you got to learn to push through the uncomfortable even if you don't know what the hell you're doing. Just like me, I do have skin in the game, I'm really good at brows, whatever. But with this online course creating journey, I don't know shit. And we gotta just learn to not pretend like everything is perfect, which is why I'm documenting this process and building the education course in real time. I want to share the wins, the struggles, the lessons, because if I can figure out how to build something sustainable for myself through an online course in this industry, then I want to show other artists that they can do it too. Since I'm just a regular girl, like if I can do it, then you can do it. So if you're somebody that's working in the beauty industry, building a business, learning permanent makeup, or just trying to create something meaningful, I'm sure a lot of this can sound relatable, because right now I'm figuring everything out myself, watching 1,000 YouTube videos on how to do this, how to do that. So I want to give you feedback if you do need help. I do have 6.5 years in the industry, so I have some type of experience, and I can encourage all the new PMU beginners that I used to suck ass, and if I can get through, you can too. So right now I'm organizing the videos. I have my curriculum, which I love. I'm trying to balance teaching in person, creating the course, running the studio, and then life. I'm going to keep sharing this process here, and I'm documenting so that, you can see I'm going through it, but I'm going to get to the other side of things. So if this sounds interesting to you, please subscribe. And if no one is listening, that's fine too. But let me know if you have any questions, and I would love to help you out in this journey.